What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler. We are back to talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, we did a video a few weeks ago where we talked about the entire plot. There was a leak. Now, whether or not you want to believe the leak, totally up to you. Totally cool if you don't. We're going to follow it along, though. Tyler and I think that there's enough there that it could very totally, be plausible that this is it. Now, we talked about, again, we went through the entire leak in that other video, but I'm going to have Tyler read basically the ending. This point of this video is we want to really laugh at and talk about how comically awful the ending is actually going to be. If this is true, if this is the ending we want, this is, going to be, in my opinion, very, very bad, and we'll laugh about it afterwards and even right now. So I'm going to have Tyler read from that video, or also just like the leak. We're going to read just the ending of this movie. If you guys want to know the entire movie, you can check out the video, but we're going to talk about the ending and just basically why it's absolute garbage. So Tyler, go ahead.
To set up, because this phrase comes up later, and then we're going to skip closer to the end. So I assume this is midway through in the movie. Rey and Kylo still share a Force bond. This is when they're fighting. They share a Force bond still, and it causes them to experience Force flashes of past events as they fight. I don't know if that's like a hot flash that some women get. I don't know exactly what a Force flash is. Maybe it's like a flash of just different memories, but they've only fought twice, so I don't know how many of those Force flashes there can possibly be. But now we move on to later in the film. Rey and Kylo learn that the Wayfinder actually contains Palpatine the Emperor's spirit. The Knights of Ren are loyal to him and manipulated Kylo into freeing him, Palpatine. Palpatine then possesses one of the Knights, played by Matthew Smith, and announces his plan to seize control of the First Order and use the arsenal to subjugate the galaxy. He also reveals that he was behind Snoke. This is where it gets a little bit. This is where it really gets too much. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo appear as Force ghosts and encourage Kylo to accept the light. Kylo then joins forces with Rey to stop Palpatine. Rey and Kylo defeat Palpatine, but he then possesses, which is, by the way, in Matthew Smith's body. So it's essentially Rey and Kylo fight one of the Knights of Ren that's actually the Emperor. So after they defeat that body, that the Emperor's spirit then possesses Kylo Ren, or Ben. He urges Rey to kill him, and she reluctantly does. The Emperor is unable to possess Rey and is destroyed for the last time. The First Order is defeated, and Palpatine's arsenal is destroyed. Rey mourns Kylo, his death, and Luke's Force ghost appears, and he resurrects him. And then the film is rumored to end with a sunset. The final battle takes place on a jungle planet. The Sith fleet will be there. Death Star remains will make the final battle epic, and Rey and Kylo will use Force flash fights against Palpatine. So, we can analyze a couple of these things, but here's what a lot of people are going to be happy to see Han Solo again, Harrison Ford again, but as a Force ghost, and Alex is right, and he'll say stuff too, and it's he's never even believed in the Jedi stuff until more recently, and now all of a sudden he can be a Force ghost. How can he be a Force ghost? Since I guess if you just make it up as you go. But what really is funny to me is Luke Skywalker and Han Solo appear as Force ghosts and encourage Kylo to accept the light. Han Solo as a ghost, I feel like he'd be more, not poetic, but kinder. But that he's not, because it's Han Solo. It's Harrison Ford. He's going to be like, what the F you do? Not really, but he's going to have that snarky attitude, what are you doing? I feel like he's going to slap Ben in the back of the head and say, I just don't understand. I feel like seeing Han Solo as a ghost, it should almost be similar to when you first see Vader at the end of when you first see Anakin at the end of Return of the Jedi, and it's kind of oh wow, that's what he looks like, and it's kind of more somber. You can't have Han Solo somber. He's encouraging his kid to take in the light. He's gonna be saying weird stuff. He's probably gonna call him kiddo or whatever, or kid. But I just, that part is so weird to me. I don't get that. Like, do they reach their hands out and like help Ben up? Like Ben's on the ground for some reason, and Han and Luke both have their arms reached out, and he like takes both their hands, and it's like, yay, he's back in the light. Like it's weird. We'll have to see how that actually goes, but that part's weird. The possession stuff will be interesting. Like, will Matt Smith or his character, will he talk similar to the Emperor? Will Ben Solo, will he talk when he's possessed by the Emperor? Will he be like, do it, I hope that they do that to change it up a little bit. Will their face change slightly? Will they become more pale? It'll be interesting to see how that goes, but like the body switching's weird. So, and then don't forget, when Rey and Kylo are fighting Matt Smith, that is essentially the possessed knight that is the Emperor. So when Rey and Kylo are fighting Palpatine, they're not just fighting him. They're using Force Flash fights. And remember, Force Flashes happen earlier in the movie when Kylo and Ren are fighting. And they're getting like these Force Flashes of past events, like memories, basically. And they're going to use those against the Emperor. So, like, are they going to defeat the Emperor, like, with love? Like, they're going to have, like, these different memories, and they're, like, just hitting the Emperor. I'm just picturing, like, Matt Smith, like just, like, his whole body's just getting, like, flown, but it looks so terribly cheap. It's like he's getting shot, but his body's, like, flailing. But it's, like, little memories. It's like, Rey when she's a little girl. Boom. Oh! Ben when his dad said, get up, kid, you're a freaking loser. Like, oh! Like, come on, you're never going to be as good as your mother, or you're never going to be as good as your grandfather. Oh! Like, oh, please, you're overwhelming me with memories. Like, what does that even mean? Please don't kill me. Like, Matt Smith's going to be on the ground, and that's what he's going to do. Please, I'm so weak. And, like, he will use... I don't know what that means. They will use Force Flash fights. But, and then what I said to Alex when we were talking about this earlier, is it, like, are they going... Is what they really mean here? And this part, if it's this, I see it, and I kind of think it would be kind of cool, actually. What they're saying is... Like, yes, it's going to be something stupid like that, where they are, like, remembering. And it might be, like, a quieter, arguably maybe even, like, very little music happening. Like a more somber Star Wars theme. And they're, like, and it's kind of slow motion. They're fighting. Like, Rey's trying to strike him. Ben's trying to strike him and different things. And then we see, not them, not, like, the Emperor, but we see, like, Rey's a little girl. She gets left alone. Maybe because I know she's going to learn who her parents are. Maybe something about that. Meeting or fighting Kylo the first time, embracing the lightsaber the first time. Fighting Kylo, losing Han, losing Luke. Like, maybe it'll be those type of things for her. So, like, we're remembering all those different things that happen. Hugging Leia. Different stuff. Luke taking the lightsaber. Same thing for Ben as she's striking, and we see those things. And again, like, the strikes are slow motion. We're remembering, like, all that they've been through. Ben, same thing. When he was almost killed by Luke, but then Luke stopped. So, like, those type of things. It could be a depressing scene. It actually might be a nice scene, and that might be what they mean. But then I'm thinking, this is my theory, and this would be the cool thing. If I'm wrong, and it is literally like they're like shooting him with the Force, and when anytime that they extend their arm, and it's like a memory, and the Emperor's like, ah, that'll be the dumbest thing that there is. But I'm really hoping that, actually, JJ, if you're watching, please don't do that, because I have a feeling that with lens flares, I have a feeling you're going to do that. Do this part, where they're striking and there's memories. But I feel like earlier, when Rey and Kylo are fighting, they're going to remember their last fight, which was in Snoke's throne room, and they were both trying to get Luke's lightsaber, and they were both using the Force on the lightsaber. and the lightsaber is in the middle, and it explodes. And I feel like that is going to be the last memory that they show when they're both trying to. And then maybe it'll speed up, and then it'll be like two like real quick cuts, and then maybe somehow I don't know how, but maybe somehow the Emperor's in between them two, and that's the last memory of them trying to get Luke's lightsaber. But instead, what they're doing this time is they're both using the Force with the Emperor in the middle, and it destroys him. That could be, so this time instead of fighting against each other, they're working together. So it could be that they mean. I'm not quite sure. I swear to God, I've seen that in Naruto. I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure that was something that Sasuke and Itachi Uchiha did in Naruto, where they did something in the past, and they did it when they were older, and it was the exact same thing. And actually, it was pretty cool. And I feel like the fact that they say Force Flash twice, it must be something along those lines. Not the, please, no more memories. So there's that. But that's the best part, but here's the other best part. Luke's dead, Ben's dead, and Luke just appears and he's like, oh shit, like I picture him like eating a sandwich or something. He's like, oh Jesus. And then he just like sends his hand, and then he's like, rise. And then Ben's like, and then Ben's back. Why didn't Yoda do that to Luke? Like, I don't know, instead of Luke just dying from the projection that he did in The Last Jedi, why didn't Yoda be like, whoa, I'm going to bring you back? Like, there were so many times that could have been you. What about, I don't know, when Ben kills all of Luke's students? Why didn't Yoda and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and all the other Jedi that are Force Ghosts, why didn't they say, oh, gee, this is terrible. This is so bad. We need to revive all of these people. Nope, they never did that. Ben, he's special. He was a bad guy who killed Han Solo, tried to kill his mother, in a way, wanted to kill Luke, wanted to kill Rey. He was very bad. He was a really bad boy. And it's like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. Boop, you're revived. What? Like, leave him dead. Why would you do... it's like, what? Or I even forgot, Anakin Skywalker. That would be even cooler if Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost is like, you know what? I'm going to let him have my soul so he can live. That would be kind of nice. No, Luke just revives him somehow. I don't get that. It's just like, what is going on? The movie's okay up until towards the end. But then you got the Han ghosts, the Force Flash fights. The possessions I'm fine with, actually. But you got the Force Flash fights. You got Ben dies. Then Luke revives him. It's like, why is this happening? The other thing, too, just to mention, it says that the Emperor is behind Snoke. It's literally impossible because the Palpatine soul was inside this weapon, inside the Death Star. The First Order is looking for this weapon to seize control of the galaxy. And they think it's a legitimate weapon, but they didn't know that the weapon actually is just the Emperor's soul. That's all that it was. To basically bring the Emperor back. That was the true weapon. So he was there since the end of 6. So how could the Emperor be behind Snoke? But you see, this sounds exactly like what would happen in the film. That's why and if you go watch that entire plot leaked video, we show you with images from the trailers that this 100% is how it goes. There's things in the leak that there's no way they could have knew because the leak came out weeks, I think it was like 11 days or whatever, maybe 13 days, before the latest Star Wars 9 teaser. So there's no way this is what's going to happen. And it's just like, how is all of this even possible? It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, when you sent me, I believe you were the one who sent me this leak, and when I read this leak, I kind of had the same idea that you were just saying, where you go through it and you're reading it, and it's like, oh, this is all fine and good. Like, this seems like an above average film. It's a Star Wars film. We can do this, and then it gets to that ending, and really just what the whole movie, which if the third act is a disaster, then the entire movie kind of falls apart, and you get to it, and it's like, hold up now, and I just feel like Tyler said, I mean, if this happens, if this is the real thing and this is what goes on, especially if they make the wrong choices, even with those Force Flash things, this is gonna be. I have a feeling, as Tyler and I will see it together. If that Emperor thing happens with those Force Flashes, we will be laughing, and we are not supposed to be laughing at that. By the way, that it will not be a comedic scene, but we will be laughing probably very very loud because that would just be amazing. And that's just one of the problems. I mean, how they handle these Force Flashes, which I don't know why that is a thing all of a sudden that they just decide to throw in. But the Han thing truly is like when I read that, I stopped reading. I was like, wait, does this sounds so wrong that I think the leak could entirely be wrong because this is included. But like Tyler said, I mean, I do believe it. I believe it. I think things line up. I think as future trailers and as TV spots come out, we'll see more things line up to it. And at that point, we'll all just have to kind of come to the agreement that like this is just what we're ready to go see. But like the Han Ghost makes absolutely, he was making fun of Jedi in Episode 4 when he was in his 40s. Up until that point, he was making fun of them that they were like wizards, that they didn't exist, that they weren't real, that it was all mumbo jumbo. I believe that was even a quote in the movie. He didn't even believe in it. And then finally he starts, he gets older, he gets wiser, and he's the one who gets to be a Force Ghost. We're not going to show like Mace Windu just never did it. There's a lot of like very powerful Jedi that just never became Force Ghosts. But Han, the guy who uses a blaster and is just a bounty hunter basically, or like a smuggler, he gets to be a Force Ghost for some reason. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, is there a possibility Leia could be in that scene? Is there a possibility other people could be around? There's other leaks that have said that like Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda will be in it. Who knows, if you put a couple of leaks together, maybe you get a better overall ending. But having Han in it, I mean, like Tyler said, seeing Harrison Ford again will be cool. There were rumors that he was going to be in Episode 8, and people were excited about that. So seeing him again will be awesome. Seeing him next to Luke, both as like their older age selves, we have not yet seen that, right? They were never in a scene together in Episode 7. And so I think that will look, I mean, it'll be cool, but then, like, Episode 8 was one of the most, I think, well shot, other than that throne room fight scene, which was a disaster. But, like, visually, Episode 8 was very, very, very good. Rian Johnson, or, like, the cinematography was very good. But then you walk out of the theater and you start asking, well, wait, did this make sense? And you come away with absolutely not. The film was a disaster. So, yeah, it may look nice. It may be a cool, like, fan service nod, like, oh, look, here's Han and Luke together. But, like, then you think about it, it's like, why is Han... Why is he a Force Ghost? That makes zero sense. The whole thing makes zero sense. Emperor can't be behind Snoke unless they pull some very strange. He put this all together in Episode 6 time, like before he tried to get Luke. He knew that was gonna fail, so he got Snoke to then eventually get Rey. Like that doesn't make any why. Like that's just something that you force in, like Tyler said, like you write along as you go. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit, but it can fit if you just put it in there because you need it to. And that's really, I feel like, what a lot of this movie, and really Episode 8 as well, it's what a lot of this new trilogy, this new age Star Wars has really become, is just let's figure it out how as we go along. But those are the main things to me. Those Force flashes, like Tyler said, have the possibility to be just absolutely hilarious. The Han thing makes no sense. The Emperor being behind Snoke makes no sense. Resurrecting Ben, I mean, that's laughable too. Do you know how many times a revive spell or revive force power could have been helpful in Star Wars? Many, many times. Why would you use it now? Why does Luke have that ability? Why wouldn't like Anakin have that ability? If he's technically the most powerful, why, when Luke died, why couldn't Anakin, as his Force Ghost, why couldn't he bring Luke back? If we're assuming that the Skywalkers are the only ones that can do this, which I'm going to assume just because I feel like it makes it slightly better that like Luke and Anakin are better or like more skilled than Yoda, then that's maybe why Yoda could never do it. Maybe Luke and Anakin are the only ones who can. But then well, why did Luke stay dead then? Why couldn't he just come back? So it doesn't make sense. It's laughable. It's awful, truly. I think so. I think the movie falls apart at the end, and we'll just have to wait and see if this is actually it. So, guys, let us know in the comments below. What do you think about the ending specifically? I mean, if you want to talk about the rest of the movie, we can definitely do that as well. But what do you guys think about the ending to The Rise of Skywalker? If this is true, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit that bell icon, and we are going to have many, many Star Wars videos starting up in just a few weeks. Our community series for The Rise of Skywalker starts, where every single week we'll be having another video on this movie. Tyler and I are very, very excited to get going on that, and we hope to see you guys there.